In this video, we're going to be talking about two things: self-employment, which is its own broad subject in itself, and also how I made $2,520 yesterday working for myself, and I was actually asleep for about half the day. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hayden here, coming back at you with a brand new video. And in this one, I'm going to be bringing you a little bit of a different subject, right? Something that still relates to e-commerce, which is what we normally talk about on this channel. But I also want to touch on the entire concept of self-employment, what I personally believe it takes, what I think you should have before you decide to, maybe quit a job or quit school or really go full time with something. Okay. And we're obviously also going to talk about this specific number and how I can do this over and over again on newer stores consistently, or with a brand that I get up to a certain point and I can basically just automate it. So about halfway through this video, we're going to jump inside of my laptop. So make sure to stick through for that, because I want to show you just a couple of simple things you can do to start finding products that you could sell today via e-commerce. And I'm going to give you some resources to do so. All right. So before we do that, I want to just real quick touch on the self-employment topic, because this is something where I know it sounds really good, sounds super sexy, but let's cut it back to basics. What does this actually entail? Because think about it. If you're going to school every single day, or you're going to a job every single day, what does your day look like, right? Close your eyes. Think about the structure. How does your day start? Do you get to choose the time that it starts? Are you pre-selected, right? Does your boss pick where you sit in the office every day, or what exactly you do, right? No matter what your career is, think about the structure. Do you get to take a lunch break when you want? These are things that can be pros to working for yourself. Here's the thing though, most people who actually are self-employed and become successful on their own are actually going to work more rigorously, and work longer hours than the typical person who is not self-employed. Because yes, you have the option to do that when you're self-employed, but to get actually successful self-employed, where you're making money and can self-employ yourself, what it's going to take to get that is going to take time. It's going to take discipline, and usually those habits are definitely going to carry on. Okay. So one thing I want to touch on real quick is think about some of the very logistical things, right? I wake up every single day. It's usually around a very simple time, like 8 a.m. I try to kind of stick to that. Today was 6 a.m. Yesterday, I actually had a crazy work schedule the day before, so I didn't sleep at all. So I slept for like half the day, right? I can kind of choose the schedule, but it's built around work. So let's think about the practicalities of it. You wake up every single day. It is fully up to you to make money. That's a big responsibility. It's going to add a lot of stress to your life. It's going to add a lot of pressure. You're going to have certain times where you feel like, it might just not work, or it's all up to you. And that's just pressure. It's overwhelming. And what it causes, because everything's a cause and effect, the effect from that, from, what that's doing and, what's causing it, the issues that stem off of that sometimes that I've just personally experienced is you're going to enjoy a lot less certain moments in your life. So when people are laughing and having a fun time, I might be stressed out because of a business deal or something that I'm trying to get done, right? So you might not be able to enjoy that time with your friends or your family. You might be sacrificing nights out. So those moments that could be great and a regular person would enjoy, you probably won't for a good chunk of them. That's just part of it. You're playing the long-term game here. Now let's jump to the real practicals: dental insurance, health insurance, any of those things, consistent pay, all of those pros that come from having an actual employer. Yes, you can set those up, for yourself under your business, for you and your employees. However, it is a very expensive thing to do, and trust me, it is a very nice perk to have if you have a real job. So just think about those, because self-employment, a lot of people don't sit down and kind of think through what their day is now and what their day is like if they were self-employed, right? Mine are a little bit more relaxed now, still high pressure, high intensity, a little bit more relaxed now than they were over the last 3 years when I was trying to build my business and was starting to first get it up so that it can cash flow, so that I can have money in the bank, so that I can take care of myself and take care of my family, right? That was a crazy high pressure, very intense situation. Now I'm still working anywhere from like usually 8 hours a day minimum, usually working from like 8 hours a day up to 24 hours a day. Okay. So it usually depends on what I have to do. I do try to keep a very consistent schedule. Okay, so I would definitely recommend structure. Some people might be like, oh, I hate my job because I have to get up at 6 a.m., fight traffic, go be there by 7 or 8 or whatever, and work X amount of hours. But trust me, that structure is helpful, and eventually you'll want it if you're working for yourself. It just makes things a lot simpler. Okay, so now let's get to the juicy part. And by the way, drop a like if you guys are enjoying this video. I would greatly appreciate if we could smash 1,000 likes, help me out there. But take a look at this right here. So for those of you who don't know exactly what this is or where it's from, this is on the Shopify app. Okay, the mobile app for Shopify. Now, for those of you who don't know what Shopify is, it's a platform that allows you to build websites primarily for your e-commerce business. It's super simple. It's super beginner friendly. I have no equity in that. I'm not promoting it here. This is just what I use for about 80% of my businesses, okay, when it comes to the online hosting of it. Okay, the rest is either through ClickFunnels or through WordPress, where we can build customized websites, okay? So I would definitely recommend, if you're trying to do anything e-commerce related, or if you're just trying to build an easy website, Shopify is definitely the best. I mean, I've been using it for 4 years. So this is their mobile app where it shows you your sales. And this is yesterday on one specific store. For those of you who know, the e-commerce here, what we do, this channel, if you've watched it, you know that I run multiple brands, and then at certain times throughout the year, I'll have multiple stores. For an example, as we're getting into Q4, I worked my ass off the last 3 months, up until about a month ago, really, really hard, so that I could set up a bunch of new stuff, make sure everything is at a point, not even just having new stores and new businesses, but the shipping, the fulfillment, the orders, the pricing, the ads, everything is created, done, and ready to go for all of the holiday season. Q4, which is Q4, coming up here in 2019, which we're basically, as of when I'm filming this, we're like a week away from it. It is the most profitable and, again, most intense time of the year. So I've always done very well throughout Q4, just naturally when you're doing some sort of e-commerce business, depending on how you run your ads, but there is naturally more people in the market purchasing stuff. So you're gonna do better. And I've always done better financially, but there's always been backlash as well. For an example, last year I ordered 4,000 units of one product. We ended up selling 9,500, okay? I grossly underestimated the amount of orders that we would be getting. That might sound like a good problem, and it definitely is. I would rather have that problem than only having sold 4,000 because we made more money. However, we had upset customers, some that took a little bit longer for shipping, and what I had to do is I had to cut into my margin, so I made a whole lot less, almost nothing on about half those orders, to get it over here into our warehouse as quickly as possible so that I could still get it to the customers within at least like 2 weeks and have it be a reasonable time frame, because if I didn't do that, think about the backlash. There would have been negative comments. There would have been people, reporting our ad, which would be bad for our Facebook ad account and Google ad account. However, there would also be chargebacks, which might not seem like a big deal, but you get over like 1% in chargebacks, your processor will shut you down. That is not dependent on the processor. That is dependent on like Visa and MasterCard. Those are the big banks and the big institutions that are essentially instilling those rules and those regulations inside of the payment processing world. So that's where you can have huge issues, and that's why we did cut into our margin, basically all of it. I was making like on average like $7 to $9 an order on the other ones, like on the first 4,000, and the others we're making like $1.50. So it's much smaller. It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So that's just part of the game. And that was on just one store, right? That wasn't even our main brand. That was one store that was up and running. So I hadn't really properly gauged what it would do. Okay, so this specifically, I want to jump in and show you. I'm not going to, show you anything specific for a product, because I don't want to just give you a fish, right? If you've ever heard this saying, teach a man to fish, okay, or what is it? Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life. Okay, or her. So that is what I want to show you today. I want to just give you a little bit of insight into things you can do, and you don't have to start selling on e-commerce platforms right now. This is just an idea, okay? If this is new for you, if this is whatever, it's totally cool. Or if you're already doing e-commerce, here's a couple things you can look at for product research. These are things that might give you some ideas into products you can sell. And you could also look around your home. I mean, you can look at anything. People buy stuff all the time online, okay? I've actually sold bed frames before, not this one, but I've sold bed frames for $2,000. They cost me $220 or $240 to get from the manufacturer, and another $650 to ship over to the US. Very expensive shipping. However, that leaves me like a $1,300 margin. Actually, no, like $1,100 to $1,200 before any of the shipping upsells that we set up to essentially make profit. So as long as I can acquire a customer for under that amount, I am profiting. So there's literally anything you can sell. However, let's jump inside of my computer right now, and I want to show you a couple of really cool practical things. All right, so hopefully you recognize this website that we're on right now, commonly known as Amazon, okay? The e-commerce giant who does billions and billions, tens of billions. I mean, they're worth $1 trillion. It is insane, right? So how can you actually use this platform to your advantage? Many people use things like AliExpress or different product research methods, and while you definitely should use those, and I'll even show you some right here, take a look at this. AliExpress is great, but there's other ways that you can look for products. So for an example, if we wanted to start a baby store, right? Products for essentially parents. You're not selling to the baby. Think about that, by the way. You're selling products to the parent for parents of newborn children. Okay, it's a somewhat niche market. However, it's what's known as an evergreen product or an evergreen niche. This is where it's not like you're essentially going to have customers one time, like for a certain time of year. There are always people who are becoming new parents. There are always children being born. Therefore, there will always be a demand. Now, the typical evergreen niche that I'm going for usually is something where the same person, that same customer that I'm already spending money to acquire, will buy multiple times. Now, I do find I have done 2 separate stores in the baby niche. I do find I get a higher returning customer rate because they'll come back to you if they liked their first product for multiple products. However, that parent only has a newborn baby for so long, right? Until they're a couple years old, then they're gonna go somewhere else and shop at other stores. So the thing is, you're not necessarily getting a really long lifetime out of that one customer. However, there's always new customers being flooded into the marketplace, which is definitely a good thing, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, if we were to look at baby carriers here, just a random product, right? Take a look at the amount sold, 13,000, 2,500, 2,800, 400. These are just a few. You know, like 72. This is a different type right here. I've been seeing this pop up. I've sold this myself. It's a winning product. It's basically like a fanny pack, but it has a little support thing. You can set your kid in there and it's practical because it's small. It's not like this gigantic front backpack harness. It's small, it's simple, it's a little bit more sleek. And in my opinion, this is the way that we structure our ads. For a dad, it's not exactly an ego killer, right? He's got some big ugly strap on that his friends are gonna make fun of him for. This is a little more simple, right? It's more camouflage, more disguise. And in my opinion, if someone were using this in person and I was a parent of a newborn, I'd be like, where'd you get that? That looks cool. You know, it's like unique, it's small, it's got a little pouch in it. So there's cool products. And keep in mind, these are things that you can mark up a lot, right? If you go to any baby brand, any big, brand that sells this type of stuff, you'd probably find this for $50, right? $49.99 or something. These could be $130, $200. You can get them for $20. You can get these for $9. So just mark them up 2 or 3x, and now you can start getting sales quickly. And you want to keep the price a little bit lower in the beginning just to make sure you're getting customers. That helps you ensure faster and cheaper that it's a working product, like people are actually going to buy it. And then once you have customers coming in, slowly raise the price and just kind of figure out that threshold of where, I raised it up from 50 to 60 and a lot of customers dropped off. Our conversion rate went down. Okay, bring it back down, 50. Wait a couple weeks, 55, right? Kind of find that sweet spot where you can still get just as many customers or almost that many, but have a higher order value. That's gonna be very beneficial to you. So just look at these. I love looking at the orders sold because that lets me know directly that people are selling this product. Because there's not, on this one, if you look specifically right here, there's not 7,154 parents who went on here and bought it. Maybe 1,000 of them are, but this platform is very common for people who are selling products, mostly drop shipping, but in the e-commerce space. So these are typically other people who are doing what you're trying to do, selling the product to customers that bought it from their store. So it lets you know that it's already sold before at any time in the past. Now, if you jump to Amazon, what we'd use that for, let's go ahead and type in something. I had it already listed out, best-selling baby products. And again, you could do this for anything. Best-selling gaming products, whatever niche you're trying to be in, put in best-selling baby products and hit enter. Okay, you can actually look at what the best sellers are by Amazon. Okay, so these are the amount of reviews, not orders. So there's a whole lot more orders. In my opinion, I think like 1 to 5% of people actually leave a review. Okay, so you can look at kind of these best-selling products, what works, what doesn't, and you can also get ideas for other ones, right? All these products that have thousands of reviews, they have so many orders, probably tens and tens of thousands of orders. Even this, like, what is this, a little baby harness? Look at this. You can also look at the pricing, by the way, because most people, and this is a common question I get, they're like, well, how do you actually get a customer when they can just go to Amazon and buy it for cheaper? They're not on Amazon. You're branding it. They feel like they're buying it from you, and most people, to be honest, aren't smart enough to look at Amazon. So that's just one thing. You're not gonna have issues with that ever. I've never ran into a problem. So you can look at all these different products here, see exactly what's working. Again, look at the reviews and make sure they're positive reviews, of course, but those are kind of 2 quick ways you can go ahead and look for products. And again, You could sell just about anything. I mean, from candles and the aromatherapy, like oil diffusers with smoke and all that stuff. I mean, I've done stores around that. Literally anything, electronics, gaming, the baby niche. There are so many different options, probably hundreds, maybe thousands, but there are so many options of things you could sell. So look around, look in dozens of niches, type in any product ideas you have, and just kind of see if you can find something that might be a good price, right? That you could mark up a lot, that you think sells at other stores for a lot more, that also has consistent orders, and you can see the sales on AliExpress for it. So definitely look for those. I mean, there's a lot of potential. Just keep in mind, I don't want this to just be an e-commerce video, which is why I talked about the self-employment. This is talking about two separate things. With the e-commerce side of it, which is one of my businesses and just one of my e-commerce stores that I sold or that I showed you. However, I'm able to sell all these products over and over again, and I'm able to build new stores if I want to whenever I'm bored. I can help scale the brands that I'm either working on or working with because I have partners for some of my stuff. We also bring on clients who also have existing business. So there's a lot of different things you can do inside of this e-commerce space, but just keep in mind, when it comes to being self-employed, even e-commerce in itself might not be for you, right? Keep in mind, I tried probably a dozen different businesses and all sorts of different stuff before I actually found what works. And I landed on e-commerce. That's me. I believe that anyone with enough hard work can figure out anything. And I know you can figure out e-commerce, especially with all the resources, even like this video. When I was starting e-commerce 4 years ago, this did not exist. I could not look up on YouTube how to do this and have a legitimate tutorial. It didn't exist, right? So when that information started coming out, it was only available for purchase, okay? And you should still be buying information. I still do to this day. However, when that stuff first came out, I bought all the courses I could. I attended 2 seminars, which I've told you guys about, one in Vegas and one in Miami. I literally flew there when I was like 15 and 16 to go try and learn these things, right? You gotta take action to learn. So I hope this video actually helped you out. I do wanna give you props for taking action and watching this video if you've stuck this far through. If you have any questions at all for me, please do let me know in the comments down below. It doesn't have to be just about e-commerce. It could be a question about self-employment or anything. You know, I've been doing the self-employment thing, I guess, forever. I've never actually worked a real job, but really it was like the last 2.5 years, maybe 3, but about 2 years ago, since I moved out of my home in Minnesota where I grew up with my family at 17 years old, I left completely supporting myself. I left at 17 years old and moved to Los Angeles, which is where I'd always wanted to live. So if you guys have any questions about that, feel free to drop it in the comment section down below. I would be more than happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like and subscribe to the channel. Keep in mind, I'm posting 3 times a week on this channel, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And go fish around in the description somewhere. There's a link that'll say eCom Season YouTube. I have a secondary YouTube channel that is just for e-commerce, very specific, not focused on like production quality, like with all these lights and the camera and the mic, just focused on giving you guys value built around paid marketing and e-commerce. So if you're trying to go through that route and go down that path, definitely check that out. There'll be a lot of value over there that we're starting to post consistently a couple times a week. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. And with that being said, I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace.